Dynasties are generally recognized as repetitive dominant teams in sports such as football, basketball, and baseball. But what our next guest squads have accomplished from 2006 to 2010 simply defies logic. That's 5 championships in a row. Wes Ashford, the men's cross-country coach at San Bernardino Valley College. Wes, got to ask you, what is the formula for success? I'm not an expert in cross-country. How did you keep that streak going?
Well, first of all, you need athletes.
Okay, so that would help.
We spent a lot of time out recruiting and trying to beat the bushes, I guess, for athletes and try to convince them to come on over and join us at San Bernardino.
What do you look as far as when you're recruiting a runner? What kind of specific? Do you have a specific blueprint for a kind of guy that you're looking for your team?
Well, first of all, we want to find somebody that's excited about running, that's excited about furthering their career, has goals and aspirations to be successful. Most successful athletes that I've had at San Bernardino are ones that have had lofty goals, that have wanted to compete after college and hopefully, try for the Olympic trials or run sub 4-minute miles or various things like that. They've been the most successful kids that we have. And that's what we try to look for is athletes that have lofty goals.
Take us through your training strategy. How do you guys train throughout the week? Is there any particular formula that you have?
No, we just try to build the kids' fitness through doing a lot of miles. And then we introduce some quality work. And we just kind of go in phases that we have basically 3 phases that I put the kids through. And each phase builds upon the previous phase and hopefully brings the kids to a peak towards the end of the season.
So your philosophy is really not to peak too soon. It seems like in those championship years, you guys were really kind of gradually moving up. And when you got to the state finals, that's pretty much when you ran your best. Is that pretty much the formula right there or the plan?
Yeah, we've had some pretty good performances at the state. I've always felt that, we could have run better. And if I had another week or 2, we probably would have run better. But we hit our stride pretty good right around the state meet. We seem to hit it just about right, had our timing right there. So,
tell us a little bit about Wes Ashford. I mean, we discussed this a little bit before we went on the air here. Where do you come from? How did you get involved in running? What did you develop your love for long distance running?
Well, first of all, I started off being a football player.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
Well, my dad was a football player and a track runner in high school.
Okay.
And I always loved football when I was a kid in Colorado. So we used to play out in the streets all the time, out in the front yard. And I played in junior high school, but unfortunately I was the smallest kid on the team, so I always got hammered pretty good. And ended up breaking my arm in 1 year, and that was pretty much all it took. I started looking for other sports after that, and I've had a lot of people ask why I took up running, and I said, well, look at me. I'm too short to play basketball and too small to be a football player, so what else is there to do? So I took up running.
Okay, so you got into running and you ran well enough to obviously get a scholarship, and you attended Brigham Young University. What was that like? Tell us about your BYU years.
It was fun. I mean, there's nothing better than college years, and
sure.
Being on a varsity team, being on a sports team while at college, just made it all that more enjoyable. I had an opportunity to travel around the world with BYU and travel all over the country and develop friendships with long-lasting friendships with teammates and things like that. So it was quite enjoyable.
Does running in that, I imagine you ran at a high altitude, did that help you as a runner? Does that make that much of a difference?
It made us better runners at altitude. I didn't really notice that much of an advantage when I got down to sea level, but it did definitely make us more adapted to training and running at elevation. And I don't know. I mean, my whole life was at altitude, so I really haven't nothing to compare it to. I mean, I was born and raised in Colorado, and I lived first 30 years of my life in elevation. So, I really have nothing to compare it to. So,
when you guys train, okay, do you guys do some sort of training where you go up, let's say, up in our mountains and get some training up, in a higher altitude to help, help your training? Have you ever done that?
we've done that. We're just not able to stay up there long enough. They say it takes 2 to 4 weeks to start acclimating to the elevation and start to build red blood cells. So we don't have that kind of time to spend up there. But the kids, I mean, you go up to elevation and you definitely can tell that the air is thinner and that there's less oxygen, and it's more difficult when you first started running up there. And the kids start to get a little bit more comfortable with it. I think one of the main benefits of running at altitude, at least for us, and this is what I was taught when I was at school, is that you don't have to do as many miles as individuals that live at sea level. So training at elevation, we kind of spared our legs because we didn't have to do as much running as the guys down at sea level to get the same effect, the same training effect. So
What kind of runner, what kind of mentality does it take to become a great runner, in your opinion?
You have to be extremely determined. You have to never want to quit. Just put your head down, and if the wall's in the way, put your head down and try to go through it.
I guess that football. You were a former football player, I guess.
It's just the kind of mentality you have just for any athlete, to be any type of athlete. You just have to be extremely determined and not willing to let obstacles get in your way. Try to overcome those obstacles. Try to build upon what you have, and continually look for better ways of doing things and ways of becoming stronger, fitter, faster, whatever it takes.
The reason I mentioned that is because, when I've been running and trying to stay in shape, I run a couple of miles, and I talked to some of your guys after I finished running, and I asked them, how long did it take you to run 2 miles? Oh, you mean our warm-up? About 2-3 minutes or so. I go, it took me 16, 17 minutes, almost a half hour, 45 minutes. Come on now, guys. It's unbelievable how the pace that you guys maintain. I watch you guys practice. It's unreal.
Yeah, they put in some good work, and they do run their miles pretty quick. I think our guys will probably, when we do our mile repeats, they'll be running the miles around, 4:45 to 5-minute mile pace is what they're running their mile repeats in. Jeez. So, they're moving along pretty good.
This won't be on my bucket list. Tell me about this area. Is this area a talented area when it comes to long distance running, this whole area, San Bernardino County here?
Yes, there are quite a few very accomplished high school programs in San Bernardino County.
And why is that, Wes? What makes this area? Is it the terrain? Is it just the surroundings that lend themselves to long distance running?
No, I think it's the high school programs. I think it's the high school coaches. They go out and they recruit the kids. They get them out into their program, and they build good, strong programs. Because I've noticed some schools that have talent, and they have talent, but the coaches just aren't highly motivated, and then they just don't develop them at all. But we do have a lot of good high school coaches in San Bernardino County.
So obviously you've established some really good rapports, because, I think about this, and I hate to keep belaboring this point, but you win a state championship, that's pretty amazing. You win 2 in a row, that's darn good. You win 3, you start entering legendary status. When you get to the 4th and the 5th, that is just in a stratosphere that I've never seen here in the 32 years I've been at this school. And I'm just curious as to how do you keep it going? That's to me the thing. How you kept this incredible streak going?
Well, every year it does get a little bit more difficult. We just would go out and find athletes, and we've had a lot of good luck on our side for that streak, and it does take a little bit of luck, but we can't worry about the luck aspect. We can only worry about what we can control, and what we can control is the athletes that come into our school and how we develop them, and that's what we focus on. I have a lot of good assistant coaches, and they spend a lot of hours on the phone and texting and talking to kids, and that's how we're able to get these kids and convince these kids to come on over and run for us.
So tell us a little bit briefly about this year's squad. How does it look? How does Valley College look in cross country?
I'm not going to jinx it.
Pretty competitive, I take it, right?
Yeah, they're pretty competitive, but
is it a young squad, or is it an older squad, sophomore dominator, or
it's about half and half?
Half and half, good balance.
Half and half. We've got 4 or 5 returners from last year's team. We won SoCal last year. We've won 7 straight SoCal championships.
Yeah, that's lost in the equation there. That's amazing.
But last year we had a little bit of bad luck at SoCal. One of our athletes strained his arch and wasn't able to run state meet, and so we fell back to 5th last year at the state meet. Just one athlete does make a difference, and but he's back, and 3 or 4 of his teammates are back as well. And then we recruited a whole new class of very talented freshmen this year too. So we're looking pretty strong, but we still have to knock American River off the top pedestal, and they've won the last 2 years, so they're the ones that everybody's gunning for, and so that's who we're shooting for.
So what's in the future for Wes Ashford? What are some of the goals, aspirations, things that you're looking forward to doing in the next couple of years?
I don't know. I try not to think that far ahead. I have a daughter who's graduating high school.
Yeah, that's an ordeal in itself, believe me.
I know. Find a school for her to go to, find the money to pay for her education. That's my short-term goals, I guess long-term goals as well. So I just take it one day at a time and 1 year at a time, and I'd love to stay in coaching as long as I can and working with kids because I really enjoy it.
Okay. Thanksgiving's down the line. You don't play any of those Thanksgiving Bowl. You don't get the urge to play tackle football on Thanksgiving Day or anything like that with your buddies, do you?
I every once in a while. I went out a couple of years ago. My assistant coach Jim Radigan. We went out a couple of years ago and played in a turkey bowl, and
oh my God,
we had some fun playing that. But we're getting kind of old and a little bit on the slow side. But he's kind of a Jerry Rice type guy, So he's got the hops, and he can catch anything that you throw his way. So
wow,
definitely get him on if you need him.
Well, that's a side of you I did not know, but football player, wow, there you have it. Hey, Wes, seriously, I really appreciate you taking the time coming over here, streaming with us, and I know you're a busy person, and thanks again for giving us some of your time and offering us some of your insightful insight on the world of cross country, and good luck this year.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Wes Ashford, Valley's Wizard of Mount Vernon. I'm Mike Sola. Thank you for streaming with us. See you at the games.